Hey guys, what's up? It's AutoBotMike18 here with another TV review slash discussion video. Guys, in the video I'm going to be doing a discussion on the entire season of this most recent season of Survivor. I'm going to be doing sort of not a recap. You guys, if you're watching the video, I'm assuming you've seen the season, but I'm gonna just basically give my thoughts on the entire season, on the finale especially, because the finale just aired. Finished airing 10 minutes ago, and now here I am with my review. First off, guys, before I get into anything, just really briefly, just a quick update. I am so sorry for the lack of videos that I have been, falling behind on. I really apologize for that. It's just I just got through finals week. I actually still have one more class tomorrow. Not a final, but I have class. And it's a week before Christmas, and basically all of my friends are just done with school, and I'm just like, I was one of the last. My college was one of the last ones to finish. Yeah, so I just finished finals today, and I have one more class tomorrow, and then I'm done. And I swear to you, I have a month off between now and the end of mid to late January. I'm going to be giving you a ton of videos, so just stay tuned. Just bear with me, guys. I'm so sorry for the last couple of days. I just have been completely inactive everywhere. Nevertheless, I want to get this video up because I just finished watching the finale. I'm heated up. I watched it with my family. I watched the show with my family, and we have heated up discussions a lot of the time with who we feel we want to win, who we feel deserves to win, and blah 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 blah. And so here we go. So this season of Survivor was Survivor San Juan Del Sur. Blood vs. Water 2, and we had an interesting cast this season, in my opinion. And again, of course, Survivor deciding to use the whole Blood vs. Water theme that they did a couple seasons back. In my opinion, it kind of worked with the first Blood vs. Water, but then again, it faltered a little bit, and there were a few problems. This season, more or less the same thing. I'm going to be flat out completely honest with you guys. I was a little disappointed with this season overall. I feel that nothing really exciting happened for a majority of the episodes. That's overall how I feel about San Juan Del Sur. And honestly, I think part of the reason why is because I was not a huge fan of this cast for some reason. I don't know, 9 times out of 10 when they have new players, I'm like, alright, fine, they're new players, okay, cool, I sympathize with them. They don't know really what they're doing, they've never done this before, let's see what they can do. This cast, in my opinion, didn't do anything for me. I really didn't get hooked to any one particular person. No one particular person blew me away from the beginning. That's something that usually happens. For example, last season in Survivor Cagayan, we had Tony, who really started off early as a dominating force. This season, we really didn't have anybody like that. And we based the winner of the season. By the way, guys, spoilers for most of the whole season, in case you guys didn't know that. And this is going to be a full-length discussion on most of the season and the finale. So in case you guys didn't know that either, now you know. The winner of this season, who I'm just going to flat out say it, who is Natalie, one of the twinnies, Natalie and Nadia. Did I ever think either one of them would make it to the end? In this case, it was Natalie. When the game first started, no. No, I honestly didn't. But she did, and in the end, she deserved it. I feel in the end the winner deserved to win. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, yeah, I never really connected with any one particular member of this cast. Not one cast member made me say, "Oh yeah, I want to see them. I want to see them go all the way to the end." Like what I was saying, last season it was Tony. Or previous seasons, even though he didn't end up winning, Malcolm was another player, most recent player. Even last season, Spencer. Last season was really good, But getting back to this season, it's just nobody really stood out for me like that. Anyway, getting into the finale that was just quick early thoughts on the season as a whole. Getting into the actual finale, before I get into the season, I think the finale was actually one of the more exciting parts of the entire season. For example, I think the first couple episodes of the season were okay. Nothing mind-blowing. I think it was interesting, the stuff going on with John Rocker, former pitcher, who was playing and got in trouble with all his past life and racial slurs or whatever he did. And racial and homophobic slurs or whatever he said. And so I thought that was interesting. Then for me, the game died down a little bit. Things got less exciting for a couple more episodes. And I think things really picked up with the whole Josh and Jeremy conflict going on those two sides. Then as soon as those two got voted out, things started to calm down again. Nothing really exciting happening. I think things really started to pick up in the finale, pretty much. Natalie made a couple of big moves in the last couple of episodes, but other than that, I think things were really exciting in this finale, especially when it came down to the first vote off, the first person who got voted off in the finale. We had the final five, who just John had just gotten blindsided last week, and much to Jacqueline's surprise. And I actually missed the first 15 episodes of the finale tonight, guys, so sorry about that. But it was really interesting, the challenge that they did. I really liked the opening reward challenge. I think it required, I forget exactly what they had to do, but Keith ended up winning the reward and the advantage in the immunity challenge, and I think the immunity challenge was actually pretty interesting, where they had to, what do you call it? They had to, balance that ball through that whole little obstacle, on those like stick things. Thought that was pretty cool, and I thought the advantage was actually a little too fair for Keith. I know you win that reward challenge and you're going to get an advantage, and 9 times out of 10, the person who wins that reward challenge and gets the advantage is going to win that immunity challenge. And in this case, proving it right again, it happened and Keith ended up winning. I think one of the only times that happened and it didn't work was in Survivor Philippines most recently, where Malcolm won the advantage and lost in the final immunity, and ended up losing to he got voted out. And even before that, South Pacific, Ozzy won that challenge where he got the advantage, I think. No, it wasn't that. I'm sorry. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, it works like that. And tonight it worked as well, and Keith won immunity, and I love Natalie's decision to take out Baylor. Oh, thank the Lord. Obviously, guys, I haven't been tweeting about this season, so you guys had no idea I was like just completely against Baylor and Missy the whole entire season. I think from the second episode on, remember in the second, I think it was the second episode, Baylor and Missy were in that immunity challenge, fighting against each other. They had to hold those like boxing things, and they had to like fight each other, and whoever fell into the water would lose. The moment that Missy hit Baylor in the mouth and Baylor started crying, I'm like, that's it, I don't like her, I want her gone. And ever since then, I wanted her gone. She just rubbed me off the whole entire game, episode by episode. Whenever it came close to someone saying, should we vote Baylor out tonight? I was like, yes, vote Baylor out tonight, it's her night to go. And just the fact that she made it this long just shocked me. But obviously, as soon as the tribes merged and all that, and she got reunited with her mother Missy, obviously the two of them, family members, are going to stay in the game. But I was just so relieved, and this is one of the best moments of the season, in my opinion. Natalie's decision. Natalie, right after they count the votes in the final five, Jeff's like, does anyone have a hidden immunity idol? Natalie gets up and excuse me, guys, and hands the idol to Jeff, and she turns to Jacqueline and says, did you vote for who I asked you to vote for? And Jacqueline's like, yep. And then Natalie's like, oh, I don't want to play this for Jacqueline. I was like, yes, I knew Baylor was going. I knew they weren't going to take out Missy because Missy had the leg injury. So I'm like, Baylor's gone. And Baylor got voted out. I was so freaking happy. But that actually was one of my favorite moments of the whole season. Just the fact that it was a giant blindside and Baylor and Missy did not see that coming, I don't think. Even though Baylor handled it extremely well, in my opinion, surprisingly. I thought it was one of the biggest moves, and I thought it was awesome of Natalie just turn around and be like, Jacqueline, did you do what I asked? And Jacqueline's like, yep. And then Natalie gives Jacqueline the idol and saves Jacqueline, and Baylor goes. I loved that. I thought that was awesome. And then the whole jury was just like ecstatic. I thought that was a great move on Natalie's part, and it only further showed that she did deserve to win the game. So Baylor got voted out, And then the next day, next challenge, Keith actually lost, and that was a really awesome challenge, by the way, the final immunity challenge. There was a lot involved. I thought it was bullshit how they had to keep running back up and down the stairs, and I mean through that obstacle to get down to the bottom, and then they had to run back up. I was absolutely stunned that Jacqueline won the final immunity challenge. I was really surprised by that, and I think I honestly thought it was going to Keith or Natalie, and when Keith finally started showing signs of like he was running very slow in the challenge and he couldn't put the puzzle together, and I'm like, all right, Natalie's gonna win this, and then Jacqueline pulls out, no, I'm like, wait, what? And she won, and I was really surprised by that. Then again, it didn't really matter because she did not end up winning. Same thing that happened last season. Wu won the final immunity challenge, took Tony, even though it was a giant mistake on his part, and Tony ended up winning. So that also goes to show that whoever wins the final immunity challenge doesn't always end up winning the game, especially in more recent seasons. That's how it's been. For example, when most recently, yeah, like I said with the Malcolm season, getting back to Malcolm season, when Scoopin won the final immunity challenge, Denise ended up winning that season. They voted out Malcolm, Denise won. So yeah, it doesn't always happen that way. You know, it's different, but you basically see a pattern. Anyway, so Jacqueline won. I was surprised. Not a huge Jacqueline and John fan. I'll get into that when I recap the season, get my thoughts on the season. So that was interesting, but a little upsetting. And as for Keith getting voted out, being the last jury member, a lot of people were rooting for Keith, actually. I think those were the two favorites of the night, were Keith and Natalie. I think people either wanted one of the two of them. For me, believe it or not, guys, even though Keith was a beast in the challenges, especially for his age, and that really impressed me, I was honestly leading towards Natalie winning, taking the whole thing. And I'll tell you guys why. In my opinion, Keith played a very strong physical game in that he really dominated the challenges and surprised everyone that way, but that's not how you win Survivor. Yes, there's ways to do that and still end up winning the game. It's been proven wrong by several players. For example, Keith, I said this to my family while we were watching the finale. I said to myself, Keith reminds me exactly of Ozzy. Not as strong as Ozzy, but you get what I mean. Dominates the challenges, doesn't play the best strategic game. Even though Ozzy arguably played a better strategic game than Keith. That's another conversation for another day. But Keith, in my opinion, made too many mistakes, and I felt Jeremy's comments on him throughout the whole entire season were sort of true. You know, Keith wasn't really with some of the big moves that were going on, wasn't really a part of a big move or anything. Yeah, he did have an idol for a while, and he did win like 4 challenges, but in my opinion, that's not enough to get you the win, and nothing about him never really said to me, yeah, that guy deserves to win $1 million and be called the sole survivor, because they didn't. He screwed up at least 2 giant tribal councils, and didn't have a clue half of the time when, plans were being thrown around. So in my opinion, even though Keith was a good player and he really fought his ass off to stay as long as he did, I do not think he deserved to win. Had he won over Natalie, I would have accepted it. I wouldn't have been pleased. In the end, I still believe the right person to win the game ended up winning the game. Now, getting into, after Keith went home, they spent day 39 on the island, blah, 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 and they get to the final tribal council, and in my opinion, apart from Reed's and Jeremy's speeches, really, I thought this was one of the weaker final tribal councils, in my opinion, in that the jury members really were kind of soft on the final 3, that being Natalie, Missy, and Jacqueline. And I think part of the reason was, I even said this to my family while we were watching the finale, I don't know why they had John and Baylor get up to talk to the final 3. You obviously knew who they were going to vote for. There's no way John was going to vote for Missy or Natalie over his own girlfriend. You get what I mean? So but they did. They had, obviously everyone had to be addressed. Everyone had to address the final 3. But in my opinion, I think that the jury was one of the weaker jurors, and that's probably because I didn't care for this cast. And the reason why I feel that way is because they basically asked the same question over again, especially to Natalie, or to Missy and Natalie, I think. And even Jacqueline, what was the one move you made on your own that what was your biggest move throughout the whole game? You didn't do anything. I heard that question come up like 3 or 4 times, and it was starting to get a little odd, a little weird. And then finally, things picked up with Jeremy and Reed coming up to speak. In my opinion, Jeremy was part of the reason why Natalie ended up winning. Because honestly, up until him, I honestly didn't think Natalie was going to take it. I honestly thought it was going to be Missy. And it's because a lot of people were sort of leaning towards her, and I was starting to get really scared, actually. I was like, please do not give Missy this win. For God's sakes, she sat out the last couple of challenges. I know she broke her leg, but then should you even be there? I know she could still play the game, but she ended up sitting out of those challenges. So I'm glad she didn't. I'm glad she did not win. She did not deserve to win. I'm glad she didn't even get second place. Honestly, I never liked Missy or Baylor to begin with. That's how I feel. But yeah, so Jeremy's speech is what saved it. And there's always that one person who just says, you know what? Yes, this person stabbed a lot of you in the back, broke promises to you, blah 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 blah. Put those hurt feelings beside you and give it to the person who deserves it. That's basically what Jeremy said. It's happened a lot in the past. Spencer did it last season. It happens all the time, pretty much. It really does. And I feel that is the way that the jury should vote. They shouldn't vote based on hurt feelings. Granted, I shouldn't be saying that. I've never been a part of the jury. I've never been voted out by people. And it is probably hard to give the person who voted you out $1 million. But it's the game, you know? So that's what I feel. And I like how Jeremy said that, and I like how he justified that Natalie deserved to win. Because she did. Yes, she made big moves, but she played an amazing strategic game, and she was, for the most part, a threat in the challenges, for the most part. Yeah, and then Reed came up, and this is probably going to go into one of those, like, best final tribal council speeches. I think this is going to go into one of those videos. Everyone's been raving about this speech over Twitter, how he compared Missy to, like, the evil stepmother or whatever. I thought that was great. I loved it. It was so freaking hilarious. I loved it. It was awesome. And he was so right, you know, that Missy and Baylor were just inseparable, and they honestly disgusted me this season. And I'm glad he gave Natalie the credit she deserved, even though he ended up voting for Jacqueline for whatever reason, who was just there just because she was there and obviously didn't deserve shit. But anyway, in the end, the votes went, I think it was 4-3-1, Natalie won, and I feel the right person deserved to win. No, it was 4-2-1, I'm sorry. Or, wait a second. No, there was 8 jury members, so it must have been 5-2-1, because Jacqueline got 2 votes, I think. Missy got 1. Anyway, so Natalie was the most deserving person. She made a lot of big moves. I think her big moves really started to come into play right when she was gunning to get John out. And I think her first biggest move was swapping her vote for Keith to Alec. And she had a plan with John and the others to vote out. They wanted to get Keith out because he was a threat in the challenges, and she wanted John out, so she wasn't really with them, so she voted for Alec, and Alec ended up going home, who was just a complete useless player, by the way. I just want to throw that in there. And I thought that was a really big move, and I love it. And from that moment on, I'm like, you know what? This woman's making some big moves. I'd like to see her win. And then she made a couple more. She flipped on John and got him blindsided, and then got Baylor blindsided, and that awesome move with the idol, and ended up talking Jacqueline and Missy to take her to the end, even though I thought that was a really good idea to take Natalie to the end over Keith. However, in my opinion, it didn't matter who Missy and Jacqueline took to the end, whether it came down to Natalie or Keith, because it was either two of them who were going to win. I knew that even before they announced that on the reunion show. I knew it was Natalie or Keith. Both of them played the better games of the 4 of them. And basically, if I was Jacqueline and Missy, if I was like watching this and had to make a decision after watching this whole game, you know, had to make a decision to who to vote out for the final 3, I would have honestly said, you know what? Who should we give the money to? Because in Jacqueline and Missy's case, none of them were going to win. I know they didn't feel that way when they were on the island, but looking back at this footage, I'm pretty sure they realized we weren't going to win anyway. So they should have just based the vote on who do we want to get, who deserves the money, Natalie or Keith? Because it was Natalie or Keith from the moment the finale started, and Natalie ended up taking it. So in the end, the finale was one of the better parts of a rather lackluster season. With some very annoying moments this season with Baylor and Missy. John and Jacqueline kissing each other every 5 minutes just made me want to throw up. It started to annoy me. I did not like that couple either, really, to be honest. What else happened? Oh, the fact that both tribes just ran out of food like that, and they had to keep asking Jeff. One of the weakest tribes I've seen in terms of running out of food and supplies and shit, and having to beg to Jeff to get stuff. That's not how you play Survivor. I'm sorry. So that's why I wasn't a huge fan of this cast. However, I will admit the reunion show is one of the better reunion shows lately, even though we didn't get to hear from every single cast member. And I thought that was a little odd and upsetting. But what are you going to do? I thought it was cool that they addressed several important issues of the season, namely John and Jacqueline's 5-hour fight, and then Reed and Josh, who are this gay Christian couple, how they've inspired people. I actually liked how they focused on that. I thought that was interesting. And then, of course, they touched on the John Rocker stuff and all that. And I liked the reunion. I think, apart from not giving everybody airtime, I liked how mostly everyone got to have their say and all that. So I thought that was cool. The reunion was interesting. The finale was decent. Not one of the best finales in recent memory, but not one of the best seasons in recent memory either. In my opinion, guys, it's a more so forgettable season with a forgettable cast, with a winner who deserved to win, but wasn't even my pick to win. And that being said, I didn't even really want anyone in this cast to win. I just wasn't a huge fan of them from the beginning. Overall, season as a whole was good. Nowhere near as good as last season, Survivor Cagayan, which is one of the better seasons, actually. Giving you my thoughts on next season, I'm actually really upset that for their 30th season, 15 years, they will have been on the air, Survivor. Okay, come this spring. I think it's 15 years. 30 seasons, 2 seasons a year, that's 15 years. The fact that they have decided to get a whole new cast and have the subject. I like the theme of the game. It's completely different. It's going to be interesting. It's the theme of white collar, blue collar versus no collar. Like the working people and people who are free spirits and all that, and blah 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 blah. I think it's a cool concept. Do I think it deserves to be the 30th season of Survivor? No, I was actually really hoping for Heroes vs. Villains 2. I honestly, right after Natalie was crowned the winner, and throughout the whole reunion show, I watched the whole reunion show because I just wanted to see them announce Heroes vs. Villains 2. I was looking forward to that, actually, really looking forward to that, because Heroes vs. Villains, in my opinion, even though there were some flaws in that season, was one of the better seasons of the whole show. And to just have another Heroes vs. Villains season with the players we know and love from the past 15 seasons of the show come back into the game and just play. I mean, I really wanted something like that, but they wanted to go with this new idea, and it's fine to have new players, but I'm actually one of the few in the minority. I see posts on Facebook and Twitter all the time, people complaining to Jeff Probst and the team behind Survivor saying, get new players, I'm sick of returning players. I'm actually one of the few who likes returning players. Now, I get a lot of people are going to be upset if they keep bringing back returning players and they don't give other people a chance to win $1 million when these returning players have already had a chance. Some of them have even won and still are playing in a Heroes vs. Villains season, like Sandra. But in my opinion, I like returning players because they know what they're doing and they make the seasons a lot more exciting and intense. Granted, even though last season, Cagayan was very intense and exciting on its own right, filled with a lot of great moves. This season, not so much. I'm hoping next season's a lot better. And I'm hoping that there's a surprise thrown in there, like maybe 2 castaways come back. I don't know. I just want returning players. I mean, I think, what was it, the last 2 or 3 seasons we've had new cast? No, Blood vs. Water, first one. I'm probably missing a season. Oh, wait, Fans vs. Favorites 2, too, the one where Cochran won. Anyway, this season and last season, we had a new cast. I wanted a returning cast. We didn't get that with this. That's fine. I'll live with it. But next season, I want to see it. I want to see returning cast. If they even make 31, I don't know what it. Survivor's been on a long time. Anyway, guys, so that's my thoughts on the season. I'm gonna give this season of Survivor a solid B- or an 8 out of 10. There were some good episodes. There were some slow episodes. An overall very forgettable cast with some very. I don't want to sound hurtful, but some very disappointing players. I was gonna say dumb. Not everyone was dumb, but there were some very disappointing players this season. Alec and Drew, oh god, terrible. And then just a lot of players that annoyed me, like John and Jacqueline and Missy and Baylor, just not fans of them at all. Nevertheless, in the end, I like this season because the person who I felt deserved to win and who really stepped up her game ended up winning, and that's what I like. And then the last couple episodes were a little bit exciting with a few blindsides here or there. Other than that, this is a forgettable season, and not one of the better ones. But still, I enjoy Survivor, and that's why I watch it. So, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry the fact this video is so long, but I sort of wanted to go a little in-depth with not only the finale, but also my thoughts on the season in general, and I did do that. I'm not going to go into more things about this season as a whole. You guys get the idea how I feel about the season. I'm not going to explain everything. But as you guys know, I am a big fan of Survivor, and if you're new to my channel and you're seeing this, I do enjoy watching the show. I've been watching it since Season 9. I think I was like 10 years old, around that age, when Season 9, when I first started watching the show, and now it's like been 8 years, and I'm still watching Survivor. And I really do like it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and leave me your thoughts, your opinions on the season as a whole, on the finale, and on the winner yourself. Do you feel Natalie deserved to win? Leave me your thoughts on all that down below, guys, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.